Well, good morning. Welcome back to Cityline. Okay, are you ready? Cuteness overload. Yep, it's time for our beloved pet of the week. Introducing Mia. Mia is an 8-year-old Saint Bernard poodle mix who has been spending her summer at the shelter since June. Mia is a live embodiment of a Muppet. Her expressions is one that every moment makes life a little bit brighter, especially on those rainy days. Look at this. She loves to play fetch and of course enjoys bonding with her person while they're playing together. She is also a water dog, if you haven't figured that out. Splashing around and playing in the water helps keep her cool, especially on this hot Pacific Northwest summer we're having. She is a smarty pup. You bet she is. Loves to learn new things and to show off some of her known tricks. The Humane Society staff believes that Maya would do best at a home with teens and adults and with a family that has just one pet. Oh, and look at her shake. To learn more about Mia, visit her profile at thehumanesociety.org, adoptable-pet/Mia. Oh, and you got to race me down to the Humane Society because I'll tell you what, I'd take Mia in a heartbeat. All right, well, speaking of getting adopted, Mia is adorable and we hope she gets adopted soon. And we want to say thank you to our next guest on the comfy couch because she is the one who consistently has a say in our pet of the week. So please join me in welcoming the one, the only, Lauren Green. You are the marketing coordinator for the Humane Society for Pierce County and Tacoma. Welcome. It's great to have you on this side of the camera for once.
Yes, thank you for having me.
And boy, Mia is a sweetie. So we've had some pretty hot days. I woke up this morning, it was fall, but it's supposed to be burning off like it does. How do we keep our pets safe in this kind of heat when we leave for work and we think it's winter?
Yeah, it's definitely something you want to be cognizant of as the temperatures continue to rise. It's important to remember that dogs and cats, they use respiratory measures to cool themselves. So you're going to want to keep an eye out for excessive panting. Are they acting lethargic, or vomiting, diarrhea, anything out of the ordinary you definitely want to clue into. And if you're able to bring your pets indoors during these hot days, that's definitely the move to make.
Yeah.
Keep them cool, keep them in the shade, and of course, give them access to clean water all the time.
All the time.
And if you need to take your dog for a walk, try to do that in the early morning hours before the sun comes out. And if it is already out, a great way to test if the ground is too hot, because dogs' paws are not invincible.
No.
And I mean, they don't wear shoes. I mean, they can, I guess, but you are going to want to test the ground using the back of your hand. Just hold it there for a few seconds, and if it's too hot for you, it's too hot for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're going to want to do that early in the morning, or maybe skip the outdoor exercise when it's really toasty out, and do some indoor activities.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I love to, when it gets to be too hot, I go at nighttime and I drive our dog to grass.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
At a local park and just let the willies happen like that. We saw that the shelter hosted a Name Your Price adoption promotion last week, which how generous of you. Tell us about that and how did it go?
Yeah, so it's no surprise that the early part of July is kind of a notoriously busy time for animal shelters, and ours was no exception. We took in 495 pets between July 1st and July 15th. So we gave the community an opportunity to name their price on their adoption fee and take home a new little critter to welcome into their family. And they answered, as our wonderful community always does.
Oh, look at this.
And we adopted out over 160 animals.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, over a long weekend. So we're really grateful for our community for stepping up for pets in need and for our shelter.
Look at that sweet face. So July, as you mentioned, is a busy month, also known as Lost Pet Prevention Month. How can our community members safeguard their pets from getting loose. And let's also tie in maybe some tagging or microchipping to that.
Yeah. You definitely, I mean, the 4th of July, like I said,
Yes.
notorious time for pets getting loose from the home, loud noises from the festivities. So we always encourage making sure that ID tags are up to date with your most up-to-date contact information, and microchips as well. That's an important piece to remember to keep up to date. It's not a one and done. You do need to make sure that your contact information is up to date on that chip.
Absolutely. So my wife runs every single day. And when she was out running last week, she said, oh my gosh, there was this beautiful German Shepherd that ran up to me. It had a collar, it was very friendly, and then it ran off. And so in that instance, when you run into what you think is a lost pet, what do you do?
Yeah, well, oftentimes, pets are pretty close to home when they go missing, so they don't really go too far. A lot of times bringing them directly to the shelter could actually hinder their
journey.
Yes, their journey back home.
Walkabout.
Yeah. But often, I mean, that is a great way to start. If you find a pet, walk around the neighborhood you're in, knock on doors. Hey, does anybody recognize this animal? Utilize online resources, Facebook groups. If you have like Ring cameras, those Ring communities are very active and very helpful in reuniting pets with their families. And there's resources like Petco Love Lost, which you can register your pet on. Should they ever go missing, it's a great resource to help reunite them with their families.
There's another program that people can be a part of that really helps them understand why the Humane Society is a crown jewel in this community, and that's becoming a foster volunteer. Why would somebody want to foster a pet?
Yeah, I mean, if you're not quite ready to adopt, fostering is a great option to make a really big impact for the pet and our shelter. It creates space in our shelter, even if it's just for a weekend, just a couple days to get the pet out and into a home, is really helpful for that pet, helps them decompress. And it gives us information about that pet and what they're like in a home setting, so we can best find them an adopter that suits them and their lifestyle.
Like Mia here that we showed and said, another animal would be good, maybe, tweeners or teenage people. But I mean, that foster parent gives you really a calling card of what to expect. Last few minutes here, what are you working on in the shelter that we can get involved with?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways to get involved with the shelter, right? You can adopt, you can foster, you can volunteer in the shelter. And of course, donations are always welcome, and especially for our mobile veterinary unit, which we talked about a few weeks ago. I'm happy to report and so grateful to report that we're 90% of the way to our goal of over $300,000 for a mobile veterinary unit that will help create access to vet care in communities that need it most.
That's 10% we've got to raise. So we'll end this visit on that note and say, community, let's raise the extra 10%.
Yes.
And thank you so much.
Of course, thank you. And that information can be found on our website, thehumanesociety.org.
All right, Esther, we're going to be headed over to the Cityline Comfort Cafe after this break to find out what smells so good in the studio. You don't want to miss that. We'll be right back.